Hello everyone and welcome. This is Bear and today's stream we are presenting Terraformers, The Red Planet Awaits. It's a indie game that has really caught my attention over the last few weeks, months. I played it quite a little bit, as you can see. Not all of the different scenarios I've played equally, but they're all very interesting in their own way. And yeah, I love that game. It's a very interesting game. It's one of the best resource management game I have seen over the last few years. The concept being extremely simple. It's very well made and very simple at the same time. This is a card game slash resource slash base building, and for each of the different city that you are going to build, you are also going to produce different resources that you need in order to advance into the terraforming of Mars. So without transition, let's straight up go into a new game, and let's go into a base game, and not too difficult because I'm already on unfair difficulty. But to present the game the best way, I think that when you start the game for the very first time, you start in the basic normal difficulty. And you then unlock progressively the different scenarios that are open to you. As you can see, some of those scenarios are actually in a higher level, a higher tier of difficulty. Like for example, you start on very hard on Expansionist and Planet of Knowledge, while Per Aspera and the others are a little bit less. There are various aspects of how you can win this game. Basically, the way to win a game is to not lose, and that may sound stupid, but you have a factor which is your people's support, basically, as you are a leader of the colonists, and you get your people's support. For as long as you have your people's support, you keep on going. But if you lose the people's support, eventually they will basically abandon the terraforming of Mars. And this is you losing the game. This is why you win the game if you manage to reach your objectives without losing your people's support. So without losing, simply. So we are going to play the Red Planet Awaits, which is a point-based scenario. The points you make by basically growing several different aspects of life on Mars, and for as long as you manage to do it properly, you will get your point. The scenarios are quite interesting. There are different aspects of the game. Red Path, for example, is the installation and usage of Mars as a proper resource base for trading with Earth, basically. I'm using basically way too much. Sorry about that. The green path would be a scenario where you try to raise life on Mars. So you will focus a little bit more into growing life, from bacteria to animals to plants and these sort of things. No, bacteria to plants to animals. You want to transform Mars into a habitable, hospitable planet. Blue path is the terraforming part of Mars. All of these parts you play together on a certain way, but here these are your objectives to win the scenario. Per Aspera ad Astra. This one is based on developing your mastery of space and space trade. Planet of Knowledge goes into advancing technology, and Expansionist is how far you go into your conquest of Mars and how many locations and cities you manage to get. As you grow into higher tier of scenarios, you will have higher objectives as well. 70 locations, 7 cities, 80 and 8 cities, etc., etc. The hardest possible way, the hardest possible scenario, which is difficulty play at your own risk. Ask for you to have 100 locations and 10 cities, probably very, very hard and pretty long to do. Also, you have different tier of success, and those are usually based on how quickly you manage to succeed in the scenario. So in order to present you the game, let's take a average, I would say, scenario, and we are going to do a little bit of gameplay on this. I have already unlocked all the cards, because I'm now at mastery level 93, which is represented by how many times I've won and to what level I've won. So every time, for example, I have a lot of platinum trophies that gives me plus 5 points. This means I managed to do my scenario in the fastest possible time. And you will have a little bit less points if you make it past a certain threshold. You also have weekly challenges that are offered by the developers every now and then, and those weekly challenges are really tough. You will usually have a pretty high level of you can play at different high, but you can go into utopian and you lose the support of your population very, very fast. So let's go to a standard scenario so that you can see what the game is all about. This presentation has started already long ago, so let's start the gameplay. All right. What I love, the very first thing that I love about the game is it has very simple graphics, and because of this, the loading of a new game is extremely fast. When you start a new scenario, whatever the scenario, you will have a little bit of a synopsis and 3 options that will basically tell you how you start, with what sort of resources you start, what sort of cards you start. That gives you a little bit of a direction, a little bit of an edge of development. So, welcome to the Mars colonization project. Small step for the first colonies, but giant leap for mankind, blah, blah, blah. You will read it yourself if you are interested in the game. Let's not waste time on that. We could have a balanced start with 50 power, 24 food, 10 water, and 5 titanium. Now, what does that mean? Simple. We have 2 cards in hand. The first card is the habitation module. To build habitations, you need food. And 24 foods means we almost have the necessary to place an habitation module in our new city, in our new settlement, that will give us 1 population, and having population is quite important. It allows you to expand. Now, we don't have exactly 25 food, so how are we going to do that? Well, simple. We are going to use the other card. The other card is a greenhouse farm. This one requires 10 water, which we have, and those 10 water are going to invest into growing 1 food every turn, meaning that on turn 2, I will have my 25 food, and I will be able to place my habitation module. Why not on turn 1, you may ask? Well, very simple. You need... No, it's just to give you like an edge, but not like an immediate edge. Like, for example, here we have the food, so we will have the habitation immediately. So I don't want to contradict myself saying, oh, no. Here you need 2 turns to have your habitation. Here you need 1 turn to have the habitation. Anyway, so you start here with a little bit of food that allows you to grow your food every turn, and an habitation module that allows you to have a new peep. Now you also have 5 titanium. Titanium is a resource that serves to build mines that will give you more resources of different type. It's quite important to have some titanium at the beginning so that you can actually start your very first mine. And power, the 50 powers, well, power is used either for building some technological things, or most importantly, to research Mars, to discover Mars. It takes power to go from one place to another and to discover progressively the land of Mars. This is balanced. We have 50. Utopian, we have 40, while the robotic, we have 55. So Utopian offers us 40 power, a little bit less, therefore, but more food, 20 silicates. The silicates is a resource that is needed for everything that is science related. Those 20 silicates are going to be used by this domed park that requires 20 silicates and 8 nitrates. So we have 10 nitrates, 20 silicates, no problem, we can build the domed park. You have these sort of cards, buildings that provide you support per turn. It's indicated here, 8 nitrates, 20 silicate must be built in a city, provides +4 support per turn, adjacent population provides +4 support per turn. So you place this dome park next to a housing, and it will start producing support. Now, why is this important? Well, simply because support is basically the roots, the factor, the ruler of the game. If you lose support from your population, and you will eventually, you lose the game. Now, here we have the Marsha. The Marsha costs 25 food and 5 titanium. So this is more than just this. This one was only 25 food. This one costs also titanium. It has an ability though. It's also 1 population, but it says this population is fully protected from radiation. Now that is quite interesting because it means this one will not have negative effect depending on how our first city is placed. It will not have negative effect of having radiation on Mars or these sort of things because there is no atmosphere. Not yet. So you will start with a pretty good level of support, and then the Dome Park that will provide even more level of support. So this is a game, and also we got 10 titanium, meaning that after using 5, we still have 5, like here, to be able to build a mine. But a little less power in exchange. So we will, with this one, the Utopian, we will start with an increased amount of support, plus 8 per turn. In this game, it's just standard, but we have more power. In robotic, the third option that's offered to us, and those options may change, by the way, from one game to another. The third option, we have more power. We have 15 titanium and 9 tritium. Tritium is usually used either for space projects or for creating energy. It's a radioactive matter. So why do we need this? Because we have here a tritium turbo generator. We need actually exactly 9 tritium, and it will start producing 1 power per turn. However, they don't really like to place those generators next to population. If you do that, you lose 1 support per turn. You will see why this is relevant just in a second. We also have 6 power and 6 titanium for a robot hub. Robots. Robotic. That's the name of the game. So robots, they count as population, but they do not provide support, obviously, since they are not humans. They just do what they are told. It's interesting because that allows for fast expansion. However, they don't provide support. So if the support goes down globally, you will need population somehow. But if the support is something that you don't really need, robots are usually cheaper. As you can see, 6 power and 6 titanium only, compared to 25 food and 5 titanium. The robots are usually cheaper to place. They are really based on power and titanium. So for as long as you have those resources, you can place a lot of robots and expand fast. But they won't generate any support. Finally, you have here a Robot Ingenuity Center. It costs 13 science, which is not provided. The science you can provide by building special research centers. And they usually take silicate. So as you can see, we don't have anything to build. We don't have any silicate to build those research centers, and we need those research centers to generate the science. However, we already have in hand this very special building that says robots in this city provide an extra expansion point. So this is a building that allows your city to expand even faster. So, to present the game in the most, how to say, understandable way, let's play a balanced game. So we start from the scratch. Just a normal, good old starter game. We have our 2 cards in hand. Our hand is limited in the number of cards we can have, and you will see that very quickly that becomes a problem. And now we have this interface. What does this tell us? Well, first of all, we can click on the city, and we can see that this is a crater. It's completely hollowed, but it's been chosen to put our very first settlement. We need for this to place our headquarters. It says you need to hire a leader first. Okay. This is the thing that's moving here, telling me, hey, click on me, open leader panel. So I'm going to go through this interface quickly, but let's start by the beginning. You will need a leader to lead your colonists. And each leader comes with its specialization. Now, some leaders are more focused on developing. For example, this one is focused on farming, so he wants to develop population quick. And this one is focused on construction. He has beautiful cybernetic legs, by the way. He must have had like a work accident or something, but I love it. Looks really cool, super cyborg. This one is coming with expertise when it comes to building in the city faster. So each leader has its own perk. And it's really down to your choice to basically advance the game through the different capacities they provide you. It's a resource management game, meaning that all of those capacities, they will come in handy more or less at a moment of the game. Those leaders are temporary. They will remain for 10 turns, and then you will have to choose another leader. It's basically the president, but after 10 years of presidency, he has to go. So let's look quickly at what these two leaders that we start the game with, which basically are random. So for this game, I have this choice. For the next game, I will have different leaders, depending on the leaders that you unlocked through playing the game. This one, he has his little story here. We are not going to go through it. Grew up in Namibia, where his family received several blah, blah, blah. So he knows how to be a good farmer. Okay. He has skills, and every turn you may use one skill. The first skill is always the same, explore. Every leader has the explore skill. The explore skills allow you to go and click on a non-explored location and to send your leader with your little rover to explore that location and check what you get in store there. It costs energy to do so, and this is why power is so important. You need energy to send your leader to explore a new location. If you decide not to explore at this turn, or because it costs too much energy to explore because the further you go and the more energy it requires, you may want to use these other skills. This one is farm. It's basically plus 5 food in one turn. At the beginning of the game, where you do not really produce anything much, 5 food is 5 turns. It's literally 5 turns of production. It's very strong. He also has breach aquifer. It converts a non-owned water deposit into ocean. Now, what does that mean? Ocean is one of the 4 factors of terraforming. The more you have water on the surface of Mars, and the more you will unlock the rain. And the rain is a factor that at least the plants are gonna need. And you can see here we are into the zone, like into the district of Cimmeria, and the district of Cimmeria already has these basic factors. Right now it's freezing cold, so the temperature is -1. There is no oxygen, we are at -2 in oxygen, and there is no rain at all, we are at -1 in rain. So we will need to up the level of the ocean several times if we want to start having rain in this area. Now, each area will have its own capacities. You will only know them once you start exploring. The second, those are his skills, and you may choose one every turn. He also comes with a specialization. Each leader has a different specialization, and the specialization is something very important because it stays with you for the remaining of the game. So this one, nitrates boost. Increase your nitrates production by 1 for every 3 new nitrates you produce. So you have to build nitrate mines, and once you start reaching 3 or 6 or 9, you basically go and have an extra one for free. So if you reach 3, you're gonna have 4 automatically per turn. So why is this relevant to this guy? Because nitrates is related to farming. Some of the farms require water, some of the farms require nitrates. George Dromedo, this guy has complete different skills and specialization. He has earthwork. It allows you to destroy 2 rocks for free this turn. Those rocks you will find in the city area, and they are blocking your city construction. You need power to remove them, and they cost 3 power. It's quite expensive because power goes down very fast. So you don't necessarily want to lose so much power, and this guy offers you to destroy 2 rocks for free. It basically gives you 6 power. At the beginning of the game, it's pretty good. There is another leader that does 5 of it, but it comes later in the game. He also has modular apartments. So modular apartments, this is a special population building that costs 25 foods and 6 titanium, so a little bit more than the other one we saw before. It has a special ability though. So they are like those construction modules put together a little bit like in Ready Player One, funny enough. It gives +1 population, but it also gives +5 support per turn if adjacent to at least one other modular apartment. So in the city, and this is the adjacency we are talking about, the adjacency is related to the connections that you can see here. Those connections, you cannot make more of them. So you have to place your building with a lot of thoughts. And if you place 2 buildings, modular apartment, next to each other with a connection, that means they will both gain +5 support because they are adjacent to each other. So you gain 10 supports by placing 2 of those by themselves without having a park or whatever stuff. It's quite interesting, it's quite powerful actually. And you get, when you click this skill, you actually receive 2 modular apartments projects, so 2 cards. Here his specialization is rural constructions. Constructing regional building costs 10% less resource. What is a regional building? It is any building that is not in the city, but instead outside the city. So a regional building could be a mine, I suppose, but it could also be some building that can only be placed on the surface of Mars. Those buildings are usually quite expensive, so this guy provides you with a 10% less resource cost, and that is pretty good, especially because you keep it for the rest of the game. So as you can see, this leader is all about constructing. This leader is all about farming. Now, what are we gonna choose? I think for a standard base game, without going into too much complexity, we are gonna choose the farmer guy. He gives us food. He could convert water into ocean. I don't really know if I want to do that because I might want to mine the water instead. We don't really need so much rock destruction. We have only 1 rock in the first city, meaning that I don't know how long it's gonna take before we can have another city. That ability would be sort of wasted a little bit. However, the specialization is really good. Now, his specialization means we will have like a good amount of nitrates, which is also pretty good. More than 1 time, I don't know if that's gonna happen within this game. Probably just 1 time. If we produce 3, then we will have 4. It's not monstrously good, but it's pretty good. Having +4 nitrates every turn allows you to place buildings that cost a lot of nitrates, and those are usually pretty potent. They give you pretty good bonuses. So I'm gonna choose him and his little girl. I'm gonna validate this, and now he's here, Alex. And his 3 skills are here available for me to choose, 1 at a time. His specialization has been placed up here, and it will remain here even after this guy retires and we take another leader, and we are going to start accumulating specialization through the game. Okay, now that Alex is here, let's go back to the city and place our headquarters. The city's pattern is separated by this rock. If I place the headquarters on this side, we will only be able to place buildings on this stuff, and I need to break the rock to pass and to be able to build more. So why not just starting by an area that has a bit more construction available? I'm gonna place it right here. Why right here? Because I see this beautiful cross here, and I know, because I played the game, that we have a building that boosts up the food production of the nearby food production buildings. So I'm going to place my food production, my greenhouse farm, I'm going to place it here in one of the quarters. And now, if we look in this panel here, which is the resource presentation panel and exchange trade routes, I will explain that when it comes. Now we have a little +1 here. Alex right now could use one of his stuff, one of his capacity. I think it's quite important for me to start expanding a little bit. 1 away from a city costs me 1 energy to research. We will have enough energy and titanium to build our very first mine. And I'm thinking, since this guy gives us a nice boost on nitrate, why not going straight up for a mine of nitrate? So how do you read these? Those are indicators, hints, that you will have this resource on this place. But when you have a small hint, it just means you might find some resource, but probably not enough to mine. However, when you have a large hint, like those 2, it means you might have, most certainly, you will have a large amount of it, and you can place a mine on it. So let's go and visit this location. It opens this little pop-up here that says nitrate deposit. Exploration report. The resource prospection of the location has revealed the deposit of nitrate, as well as a small hint of water. We can collect the samples while prospecting, so we get +4 nitrates and +3 water. But we also have a nitrate deposit. Now we cannot take the nitrate deposit and build a mine because we do not control this location. To control a location, you need more population. The first initial headquarter does not provide more than just opening the city. So if we look in the city, we also have a lot of factors which I'm gonna go through. The very first factor is the number of population. If you put your cursor here, if you put your cursor on any of those things, they will open a pop-up and explain to you what they do. So let's start by the beginning. The headquarters provide a population. We just have population, we don't have robots. And it says total 1 population, 0 robots. Both populations and robots increase the maximum building and locations a city can have. Locations means we can expand outside. But only populations provide support equal to the comfort of living in the city. The comfort of living of New Juba is 1. It gives 2 radiation protection because we are inside of a crater right now, so we are protected by radiation. That's what it says right here. Radiation protection plus 2 because we're in the crater, but 0 from the atmosphere. There is no atmosphere. Once we start having atmosphere, this radiation protection will grow, and it's actually going to grow probably on the entire planet. So all of the cities will start benefiting from higher tier of protection, which will increase the comfort of living. However, the temperature is very cold. We are at -1 in Cimmeria, meaning that we also have a -1 modifier from the temperature. And oxygen does not provide any bonus or any negatives because we are after all protected under our domes, so that's not the problem right here. But it will provide us positives if we start having oxygen and people can come out. Now we just saw the comfort, and here the support generated by the population. We have 1 guy, meaning that the comfort gives 1 point of support. That point of support is put here, and it cumulates. We start with 100, and now we're gonna have +1 support every turn. This pool of support is basically the nerve of the game. Like, this pool of support, if it goes down to 0, you lose the game. That's as simple as it gets. This here tells you if you will win or lose. And over time, as you try to fulfill your objective, and our objective this time is to obtain 600 points through different means, the support will change radically because your population is going to require more things. And basically, what happens is that you have a rise of expectation from the people living on Mars, the settlers. They want more things to live because they sort of get accustomed of being on Mars, and they want their life to be nice and not just to be poor little miners that have to work all day long and go to sleep. So you have a whole bunch of factors that will affect how this bar of expectation will grow. And the more it grows, and the more you will have a percentage of chance that you get a expectation rise. Now, we are playing on hard difficulty, but not on extra hard difficulty. So the effect of the next rise of expectation will be -8 support per turn. And that -8 will go here. If you do not have at least +8, you will start losing your support every turn. And that -8 will grow over time. The next rise of expectation will be 2 times -8, so 16. The next one, 3 times -8. And then 4 times -8, and then 5 times -8. So when you start having the 5th, 6th, 7th rise of expectation, I can tell you, you better have a major, big pool of support from your global population on Mars, or that number will go down to 0 and you basically lose the game. Now this is, let's say, the scarcity of the game. I explained the support based on the comfort generated by radiation or cold or oxygen. And here we also see if there is rain or not rain. So basically this gives you also the temperature, oxygen level, and rain level of the district in which the city is placed. We could have another city in Cimmeria, maybe here or here or here. They will also have these modifiers indicated here. Now, this is basically the tab that relates to the city itself. There is one last thing to look at, and that is the maximum locations of buildings. So we have in each city placement 15 locations. Sometimes a location that you found, a city placement you found, already have stuff installed in those locations, such as a natural wonder or a mine or a deposit of some sort, or these sort of things. That means that you will not have 15 placement for your building. You might have less than that. So if you look here, you have a how to say, a scale on how many buildings you can place. With only one population, the very basic population from the headquarters, you can build a maximum of 5 buildings, and we already have 2 of them, the headquarters and the farm. With 2 populations, you can go up to 9, 3 population 12, 4 population 14, and 5 population plus 15. There will be no more than 15. There is no new location that pops out, even if you have 10 population. If your entire city is only population, that will not change anything. So this is where things gets a little bit tricky, and you need to start thinking every turn how you want to do things. Your population does not necessarily has to be human. It can be robots. Meaning that I could have 1 population for my headquarters and 4 robots. I will reach the number 5 and the maximum amount of building needed. There are also special projects, special cards that allow you to reduce the requirement in population to have the buildings. For example, you can reduce it by 6, I think, which means that if you have already 2 population or 1 population, 1 robot, which normally reaches the maximum 9, then you already reached the maximum 15. Which means you can completely fill up your city with productive buildings instead of putting more populations, and gain a lot of new resources. However, that also means that you will not have an opening out of the city. That will be a city that will be really centered on itself. You will not be able to take the tiles around it because you need populations for that. However, this is not the only city we're going to have. This right here, every 2 tiles or close to it, you will see this, a location that has an exploration milestone with this big support thing. When you explore it, you will gain support, like a flat number added to your pool. And most often than not, 2 tiles away is another location suitable for a city. So you will have potentially a lot of cities. If you decide to build them, then you make a lot of small cities that do not have a lot of population, but rather a lot of buildings. Or if you decide to use that tile for something else, and you discard the idea of placing a city, and you grow this 1 city radius, because you have buildings and project that allows you to grow the radius instead of growing your production inside. And doing so means you can have very large cities, or you can have a lot of very small cities. It's for you to choose, basically, based on how you want to play the game. Now, here we are. We just unlocked the nitrate deposit. We cannot take it, so we must now pass our turn. That's all we can do for this turn. Every turn is basically 1 year. Now, we just passed a year. A year later, we have enough food now to place our population building, our habitation. Now, we have an option to follow one of those 3 projects, and those are the cards you can choose. At the moment, we can only research 1 project at a time. If we decide to discard all of those cards, we can also just say, I'm not going to research anything. I'm just going to receive a basic flat number of science. So right now it's +1. 1 science per card. No, 1 science per project you decide not to research. So we could go for a tritium thermo generator. We need 9 tritium, but if we place it in the city, then we are going to start producing energy. That's pretty good. We could go for another greenhouse farm to boost up our food, but we need the water. We have only 3 right now. Or we could go for a laboratory, which is our basic research center. It produces 1 science per turn. It requires nitrate and silicate. The thing is, we already have nitrate, and I think we're gonna find a nice source of silicate. We could probably go for the laboratory first, even though I'm really tempted with the greenhouse. Let's go for the laboratory first. I think we're gonna have it. Now we are going to research the next tile. It's a silicate deposit this time, and we are going to find 4 silicates and 2 science, meaning that we are now at 4 nitrate and 4 silicate. If I can find another tile, like this one, that has a small hint, we will have enough of it to place our laboratory. Right now, I have what I needed to place my habitation module. Where am I gonna do it? Well, as it stands, I do not gain anything at placing it next to the headquarters. And here, I'm already preparing to have a big food production area. So what we need is to give our living quarters a little bit of space so that we can place amusement parks and other things like that that grow the support of the population. So I'm going to sacrifice 3 power to remove that rock. And I'm going to place this building here in the wait for a potential... and our city develops itself. I love that in this game. It's really nice. The city develops, as we are in the crater, it starts putting some of those modules in. And the more we develop the city, the more the background is going to develop with it. So we are going to place it one away. I might actually even move this one back, because here, if I place, let's say, an amusement park here or something like that, it can affect 3 different tiles. So it could be 3 different populations, more than just one here that touches 2. We will see later. Okay, we'll see. It's not, everything is not fixed in stone. As I said, we have now 1 extra population that allows for us to expand the city. I'm going to expand here. We are now in control of this mine. I'm gonna use 4 power and 4 titanium and build a mine on this tile. There we go. This is our first regional building. We do not have the negative 10%, unfortunately, so this costs the maximum it is supposed to cost. It's a small mine, it costs 4 power, 4 titanium. You have larger deposits. This one is a small deposit. You have larger deposits, they would cost 8 power and 8 titanium. And you have gigantic deposits. So basically they would generate respectively +1, +2, or +3 resource per turn. And the gigantic one requires 12 power and 12 titanium. So it's quite costly. It's quite costly. We finished our turn. We have nothing else to do right now. So we are going to pass. We are going to generate 1 food. And now we are going to generate 1 nitrate as well. There we go. Now we have our first event. Those events pops regularly, I will say. And at the beginning of the game, you do have like quite a few of those. That gives you a little booster, I would say, a little boost. The X-Mars Foundation is proposing a large cash prize to push research in a specific field. They're asking us to choose the field according to the most pressing matter on Martian development. Which technology do we need the most? Another laboratory? An habitation module? Or a turbo farm? I'm gonna take the turbo farm because it costs 10 nitrates and produces food. And we are now producing nitrate. Plus, we are going to find some more, so I'm actually quite interested in having that. I am also interested in having the other farm. Why do I not take the habitation right now? Well, because by the time we get the 25, we can do a lot of other things. I'm not gonna take yet the tritium generator because I didn't even see a hint of tritium so far, so let's take the greenhouse farm. I could produce food. Once again, it's not our most pressing matter right now. Instead, I am interested in placing the laboratory because this is a card we can place immediately by researching this tile. Now this tile is 2 away from the city, so it costs me 2 energy to do it. And this is another crater. So we found another suitable location for a city. For this, we get 30 support. But we also have a hint of nitrate and silicate, 2 of each. Now we have the resource to place our laboratory. The laboratory, right now, it doesn't really matter so much. I'm going to place it over there. doesn't bother. Plus here I do want to have my farming area, so I'm gonna place it away. And now we are starting to generate some science. Now what is the science for? Because you can see the other things as being useful. The silicate, well, basically serves to place those science buildings. The water, the farm. The nitrate, also the farm, or at least agriculture related. The food produced by the farm is going to serve to get our population. And we already saw that power and titanium, for example, will serve for robots. Titanium also serves for the mines. So we sort of know now what those guys are doing. And the tritium, as said previously, is more for like energy or space projects. So what exactly is that for? Well, the science will be used for very special buildings or science project. They will come later, so I'm not going to spoil too much. Third turn, new trade route. Now we are being presented with a trade route system. Earth has established a permanent trade route with us. With regular traffic between two planets, we can expect our new colony to burgeon and grow as long as we make the journey worthwhile for Earthbound travelers. Great, +1 trade route. I'm going to close this. It does not cancel it, it just put it aside. Trade routes appear here. And if I click on that button, I open the trade panel. Now the trade panel is an extension of our basic resource panel. And here you see the number of available trade routes, maximum 1 right now. We just got 1 for free. The next ones are not going to be for free. We are going to have to figure out a way to boost that up. Now, this opens this import and export panel. And basically, we can exchange now with Earth one resource for another one. Now, that's quite interesting. What are we going to do with this? We could boost up our food production. We could decide that, oh my god, we don't have any way to get more energy, so maybe we should ask for energy from Earth. Or we could decide to boost another specific resource that would be interesting for us, independently from what we can find around. Well, what I can see right now is that what we can find is a huge amount of silicate, so we don't really need to produce silicate. Even putting a farm on the silicate right now is irrelevant, because we're going to find quite a lot of silicate in this region as we explore it. Here we find a little bit of nitrates, so we are also going to find some nitrates, which means nitrates and silicate, we could develop our research quite well. That's interesting. But it's not so interesting for developing our farming or developing our population. So we have to be careful with that. And we haven't found a single trace of titanium or tritium, which will provide us other problems. So, right now, what I can do, either I could do some farming, or I could try to place this next farm tile. So we are producing the nitrates. We are not producing water, however. For one, I could get a little bit of both. 3 water and 3 nitrates. So let's just take that. Oh! We got a special event, a lost supply crate. We just gained 10 food because we discovered old supply crates from previous Martian missions. And yeah, well, thank you for the plus 10. And that also opens our research here. And I can see here now we're starting to have small hint of titanium. So we want to go in that direction. However, there is something I discovered in the game, and that is that finding this supply crate is actually considered to be a very joyful event. Therefore, year 4, 4th turn, year 4, we already get +3% raising in expectations. And having found all that food, well, my little merchant guys are very happy and they want some. So those lost supply crates gave us an extra +6% raise in expectation. So every turn now, the raise of expectation gets +9%. And at some point, it's a percentage of chance in which they are going to go in and ask for something. So supply crate, yes, cool. Now we have 12 food and we can place a population building faster. Uncool, expectation is bound to rise much faster. Let's take another laboratory, because I believe we would be able to place it very fast. I like how the game tells you, are you sure you wish to end your turn? Some of the stuff is not done. True, we did not set up our trade route. How about we export our science, which is useless at this point, in order to get a little bit more water? It's just 1 point. It's not wasted. Why science? Simple, because we are producing it. So I just exported our production. I didn't lose any. I exported my +1, and it gave me an extra water. So it's just plain bonus. We found another turbo farm, but we could also now go for the windmills. So the windmills, the card is red. It's not blue like the other ones. A red card has to be, it's a building that has to be placed on an outside tile. For example, I could decide to erase the silica deposit and to place something on top of it, or a tile that just had some hints becomes an empty tile most of the time, and those empty tiles could also host buildings. So I could place those windmills. They would generate 1 power for me. That's actually pretty good right now. That's something I might need. Alternatively, we have an interesting eco homes. Why is it interesting? Well, I just said we didn't have any use for the science right now. These eco homes require 10 science and 15 food. So we just exchanged 10 food, because the normal habitation is 25 food. We just exchanged 10 food for 10 science instead. And they just give us a population just like the same. Just like the others. So if I decide not to trade my science anymore, I will accumulate a little bit of science over time, and then eventually I can have that eco home placed and another population faster than if I had to wait for the 25. So this building is interesting for us, and this building is interesting for us. I don't know which one I want to do first. I think, to place this building, we need access to this tile, which means we need another population. So if you think logically, this eco homes makes more sense right now than the windmills. It also means I need to stop exporting my science. I need to export something else than the science. I could export my energy. I have a lot of it, 38, but that's going down real fast. I also do need my food. So what am I gonna do? That's not great. That's not easy. Hey Balance, how are you doing, man? Nice to see you on the stream. Today is a indie game presentation. I hope you like it. It's called Terraformers. It's a great, great game. And yeah, do not hesitate to test it. It's a very interesting resource management game. So I'm going to, for a few turns, I'm going to export a bit of energy. It is a bet that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait to grow up to 15 to have the necessary food to place my eco homes, and then eventually I will exchange the food for the science. We'll see. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not going to exchange it for water. I'm going to exchange it for science, because I think I can reach the 10 and 15 faster if I do it this way. Alternatively, we also have the possibility to do the food. I could export my food instead of my energy. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna export my food instead of my energy, because I can use Alex's special ability to give me the necessary 5 food I'm gonna miss. So right now, let's use our energy for something constructive, something useful. That's gonna be a large hint of water and a little bit of nitrate. Or I do have the nitrate necessary. I could have more nitrates and place more food. Yeah, that makes sense too. Let's try to place our food buildings first. Large hint of water. We got 6 water and 2 nitrates, because it was a small hint of nitrates. 6 water. It's because there is an aquifer over there. Oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it, Balance. Oh man, did you go into the clinic, or is it just painful? Because smashing your foot is always a terrible thing to do. I am a big a big user of smashed feet. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear it, man. I was actually about to contact you, wanted to know if you were up for a co-op today, but turns out I started streaming too late, and it was not worth anymore. But how about next week? Will you be up for a little co-op next week? Let's go. Saturday is either for a discovery or for co-op games or sort of things. Yeah, it sounds good. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. I'm looking forward to it. We have this Escape from Tarkov to discover. Alternatively, don't worry, man. That's all. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Absolutely. Alternatively, my Tuesdays are also for shooter games. So if you are interested, maybe you can join me on Tuesday and do a bit of Tarkov. Otherwise, I might just train a little bit on Tarkov. Or what I did this week on Tuesday, I actually played a session of Alien Descent, which is, from my opinion, also a little bit of a shooter game, because, I mean, you have to keep those aliens around, huh? But it's such a spooky, creepy game. I loved it. I really, really jump scared at some point. Okay, here we have three possibilities: a laboratory, a robot hub, or a household robot dispatch center. So this one uses some science and power and gives support. It must be within the city. It gives support +2 support per turn for every robot in the city. So let's imagine you have a city with a lot of robots and few population. This simple building here grows up exponentially the amount of support you get out of it. Sounds good. Will you be available on Tuesday? Maybe we can do a co-op game on Tuesday. I don't know because of work, but probably you won't be available because of our time zone difference. For this turn, I'm going to choose the robot hub. I think that's a good way for me to open those tiles as well. We just need some titanium for this, instead of the big requirements of the other ones. Also, my turbo farm is available now. Let's do it. I didn't show it before. Yeah, you cannot on Tuesday. That's what I assumed. Mostly because of work. Yeah, of course, man. No trouble at all. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go back on Alien Descent and do another session on Alien Descent on Tuesday, and then on next Saturday we do a long day co-op. I think I cannot, when it comes to shooters, I cannot do much more than 4 hours, I think, because my focus and attention like loses too much, because it's so... Escape from Tarkov is a very on-edge kind of game. It's very tough. So you'll see how it goes. But maybe if we play it together, it will make things a little smoother. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. I forgot to explain this little thing that happened here. Explore location with exploration satellites. This is an event that comes every time on every scenario. When you do a scenario at day 5, I believe, or day 5, year 5, you will be granted these satellites from Earth. And those satellites is also a space project that you can have occasionally. They allow you for a free exploration without the cost of energy. So this is actually a great way to explore a location and get the resource of the location without having to use the special ability of your leader. Now this only comes every 3 turns. You can see there is a little 3 with the clock. So they're only available every 3 years, basically every 3 turns. But you can have more than just one. Right now, I think getting those robots online could be something really good for us. It will unlock those tiles, and then maybe we can use them for something else. So I'm gonna explore a titanium area. Let's say this one, for example. It's a lava tube. A lava tube is another area constructible for a potential city. So we gain some support for this. 3 titanium and 2 water. Oh! And we lost support rate again with nitrate in it. So that is actually really cool. Those are supply crate, however, are boosting up the expectations. So we don't have yet enough titanium to build our robots. I'm gonna send my rover and get us a bit more titanium. So for example here, that costs us 2 energy to do so. Now we have 4 water and 3 titanium. We have 7 titanium total. That's enough for the robots. So let's place our little robots. Let's place them in a corner where they don't bother anyone. We gained 2 population, and that's the benefits of robots. They cost a lot less, and you get a minimum 2 of them. There is a leader that special ability is to put a little robot hub that gives only 1 robot, but the standard project that you can play is 2, and you can have also another project later in the game with 3. So it's a good way to have more population with less tile, because otherwise it's 1 population every time. So with those, we are going to take the immediate adjacent tiles, and now those tiles are available for us to do stuff. If I wanted the mine here, I will need 4 titanium. I think I'm gonna do it, because producing other resources means that I can exchange them. And already we are now at +3 food per turn, which means I can exchange one without being too penalized. Sorry. Are there more planets that you can terraform, or does it stick to our solar system? No, it sticks to Mars. This is the Mars planet that you terraform, and I never actually checked the environment around Mars. It's so beautiful. They made a really, really nice environment. This is a Mars terraforming game. However, the mechanics of terraformation, first of all, as you can see, there are lots of places, and the planet is big. So a game can last for pretty long. Usually the average of a game is, I would say, if you play fast, 2.5 hours. If you take your time thinking of your turn and everything, or if you want to obtain the best score possible, more into the 3-4 hours long. So if you had more planets than that to do individually, I think you would go into a very, very long gameplay. Did we research the project? Yes, we did. Let's just pass our turn. Now I need to keep an eye on this. I want to make sure that I get to use Madiba to the full extent of his capacities. Master of Orion, there are also some other games that's been released over the last few years. I even tried one not too long ago called Per Aspera, which is also a Mars colonization game, another indie game. Pretty good, not fully finished from my opinion. I could get a 4th food production. I don't need to take another population right now. Or we have here a special building, magnetic fusion plant, 14 tritium. We don't have any tritium, so that's gonna be tough to do. But it will give 2 power. However, -1 comfort of living in the city. And that is a big negative at the beginning. So I'm just gonna take the greenhouse farm for right now. Yeah, Per Aspera, another game I tested. The mechanics were much different, and it was more 3D oriented, while here we are more into... Oh, I didn't realize. Oh my god, I did not realize they actually have placed all the names of the craters and I don't know what from Mars. Wow. This is the first time I zoom so much. As you develop the city, you can see the city is sort of like, you know, developing organically like this. And the road system is also developing. That's kind of cool. But I never actually saw that they had named everything. This game is one of those rare games that not only caught my attention, but gives me actual joy while playing. This game, when you finish a scenario and you are successful, the game does not ask you to continue. It's not like you don't have to finish the whole planet. You succeeded in the scenario, and it basically immediately tells you, hey, stop playing, you won, good job. You can decide to get back to it and to keep on terraforming, but it's unnecessary. So you get like this quick satisfaction. It's really, really nice. And I'm gonna have to accelerate a lot if I want to do this within the 2-hour presentation that I'm doing right now, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. I'm going to quickly... I have now the amount of food that I need. I still need a little bit more science. What I could do is try to explore this location that has a bit of science on it. Gives me 3 science. Oh, and we get yet another lost support crate. I can see how our expectation is going to happen now. Very soon. We are already almost at 50% chance of raise of expectation. We got now our eco home. I'm gonna place it. I'm gonna move this one here. So I'm gonna do a bold move. I'm gonna move this one from this location to this location. The time of moving the building is gonna generate a -10 support. So this is a little bit tricky. It's only gonna take 2 turns, fortunately, but we are going to hit -20 support because of that. Pass the turn, and there we have it. Rising expectation, right on time. Now I'm gonna pay for that. Okay, as the colony grows and basic amenities becomes more common, so do people's expectations. This is the very first of many. -8 support per turn. They want better things, better food, better stuff. That puts me at -15 per turn. So, we need now to start considering finding a way to raise our expectation. This project, Stonemason, is absolutely not what we want. It doesn't cost much. It's 2 science, 2 power, but it gives support per turn per 2 rocks in the city. So let's imagine that this lava tube up there, we decide to found a new city. I'm gonna pay for that. This new city in the lava tube is filled with rocks. And let's imagine that this new city, I don't need to grow it around because it's filled by other city. All those tiles are taken by other cities around. So I literally just have this one tile that I could decide to put stuff in. Then I could just decide, hey, I'm gonna put a headquarter in. I will have the possibility to build 5 buildings. Well, in that case, this building here would be pretty good. +1 support per turn per 2 rocks in the city means if I decide to just place this one building, let's say here, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rocks. So I cannot build anything else. But this one building generates 6 support. Meh. That, I mean, you could decide to just do that. It's okay if you decide to do that. I don't really have a good use for it right now. What I could have good use for, I mean, our production of silicate and nitrate are going to go off the roof. I could invest in taking another laboratory. Now, if that's the case, and I got 3 laboratories early on, I'm now regretting not having put the laboratories in a node where I could double up the science. But hey, having a lot of science is not exactly the primary objective of this game. So how about I stop giving myself science, but instead I'm gonna import a little bit of silicate. I could instead import the water, but I have water and silicate right here. So I'm gonna use my guy, take the water and silicate. Now, not only do I have the water for the farm, but I unlocked an empty tile again, which is good for me. And I can also place the laboratory immediately. So let's place the farm. Let's place a laboratory right here. Why not here? Because I want a support-based building here. It will affect all 3 populations. We are at 10 building out of 15. So I have to be careful as well. No, 10 out of 15, that means because I have my robots, I reached the 5 population. So I don't need more population for this city. I am at the maximum, but I could say, hey, no, there is a super good tile here and I really want it. Well, either I will need to find a project that allows me to have more tiles using the current population I have, or I will need to put more population to keep on placing, keep on taking those tiles. So yeah, decision. Every time it's for you to take a decision. Also, I forgot to say it, but here it's indicated under the project. 1 out of 8, this is the number of projects I can have in my hand. So I'm limited to 8 projects total. But this can raise. Okay. Another important event, technological event. And this is what the science is all about. Sometimes you will have a research project that will give you a flat bonus for the rest of the game. So you have to look at them and decide in which direction do you want to go, basically. Right now we are playing the base scenario that just wants a little bit of everything. So let's see what is the most beneficial for us. Get nanotube water filters. It costs 15 science to play that project. This project does not go into a city, it's a special project. Gain 1 water income per ocean level you increase. Ah, so if we go and build up our ocean to the 3rd level, which is the maximum, we could get 3 water income for free. Is it interesting? Well, that's subject to debate, I would say, and that costs 15 science. Get advanced land clearing techniques. What does that say? It costs 25 science, this one. Destroying a rock costs 2 less power. Okay, so now this is powerful. This doesn't look interesting. I've been paying attention to the studies that have talked about how to colonize Mars. Exactly. So, advanced land clearing techniques. This is very interesting. 25 science is quite costly. But destroying a rock costing 2 less power means that if we want to settle into the city in the lava tube, which is filled with rock, every time we want to place a building, we need to expend 3 power to remove the rock. And that is a lot of power. We are already down to 25. We started with 50. So we're already down to half, and we need to start generating power soon. So not having power is not great, because that means if I take that environment, I won't be able to build stuff before I start generating power and use that power to remove the rocks. Now this goes down to 1 power per rock. So it divides by 3 the cost of removing the rocks. That's quite strong. Also, we have here another crater. There are rocks in the crater as well. Now, most of the environment where you can place a city are not gonna come completely empty. They might have things in it. Now, we can see this actually has also 2 special areas. This anomaly is a special area where if you place a science building, such as the laboratory, it will generate +1 science. So my laboratory suddenly becomes not +1, but +2 science per turn. That's really good. And this here is a tritium deposit. So we could make a mine out of this. The problem of the mine is that people hate to be next to mines, so I cannot place my population next to it. However, this is an easy mine in the city. Pretty good overall. I kind of like this placement, so I might want to consider putting a city in here. It would generate me science and tritium just in the city. Really cool. We have the satellite back. Let's take our silicate. We have a gigantic silicate deposit. So I think looking at how the game is developing for us today, with so much silicate and potentially nitrate, we have a game that is orienting toward large level of science. So that means high tier science buildings and very technological oriented science buildings. Building of different sorts, or large food production for a lot of population. So science and population, this is where this game is going to. We're already at +4. We are already at +4 food generation, which is not too bad. Once we reach +19, we can talk. But +4 is really not too bad so far. And +2 science, this is unusual. So already having +2 science, and the +2 is going to become +3 now, with this additional science here. That is already unusual. So we are generating good science, which means we can place our project really fast. So I'm very, very interested in this project, 25 science and reducing the cost of removing rocks. The third one we didn't look. Get improved spaceflight conditions. Cost 10 science. So this one is cheap. Gain 1 support per turn for every new trade routes you create. Trade routes from mine don't count. What does that mean? Every single time I'm going to create new trade routes and start exchanging with Earth, or send trade routes to space project, but I believe it's more about the exchange, having real trade routes here available, we will gain support. Now this, to be fair, I think that the max amount of trade routes I ever had was something around 15, 12 or 15. The objective of this scenario is to obtain 600 points. We are already at 29. 600 points, this is the base scenario. 600 points generated by doing a little bit of everything. The trade routes are giving us plus 2 points. The resource income of my various resources is giving me 24 points. And the support is giving me 3 points. But as you can see, you have other things. Total project suggestion, total project research, trade routes from mines, terraforming steps. Every aspect of terraforming Mars gives us a certain amount of points. When we reach 600, we validate the scenario. We made it habitable. Before we go down to 0 in support. So that's the race for this scenario. The other scenarios available on the game, and if you're interested to know a little bit more, we can catch up after the stream if you want. I can display you the various scenarios one by one. They could be focused on trading, they could be focused on space project, they could be focused on terraforming, or they could be focused on funding a lot of cities. We don't have any project in hand. This is really unusual. I think it is time for me to take an habitation module. Or is it? I think having a tritium generator in my hand could be good as well. I think I'm gonna go for the habitation module because we are nowhere near getting the tritium. However, I want now to unlock this crater. I did not validate my things, sorry. Spaceflight conditions, yes, but best case scenario, 15 support per turn from what I know of the game. So let's take this card. Now it takes a place in my hand, okay? It's one card in my hand. And that card is blue, which is special because it is a science project. It's not like a normal project, habitation project or stuff like that. It can only be played with science. But it also doesn't take any place. If I place this project, as you can see, there is now a new pop-up opening. You deploy the technology, and that technology will be accumulated here with your bonuses. If you want a comparison, you can consider a game like Slay the Spire. For example, Slay the Spire, which is a card-based roguelike dungeon crawler or something like that, where you also need to build up your fighting capacity of your hero. You have these sort of things where all the powers start accumulating, and you also have the artifacts that gives you more capacities. This is very much like having artifacts, like permanent modifiers. My good friend Alex Maliba is going to retire soon. I could use him to unlock this first, but I think getting quick food will unlock not only the habitation module, but also the colonization of a new city. So I have to be careful for one thing here. If you want to place a new city, you need to buy a headquarter, and the headquarter does not come for free. The headquarter is a high-tier habitation module costing 25 food and 10 water. The first one was for free because it was the beginning of the game, but any new city now costs us 25 food and 10 water. That's a real problem. So we need to find a source of water. We have two actually, one here and one here. So what I'm thinking of doing, I am curious about what this is. I'm gonna check it. It's another crater. It gives us a little bit of water. This is another potential city. Now it's not a very good city. Why? For two reasons. It's not a very good city because it has close to no connections. So putting a lot of population in that city here would necessarily mean you need to send your expansion already at the second level, if not third level. And the problem you have with that, we haven't seen it yet, but I will show you next time. If I wanted in New Juba to conquer this tile to get the water, since it does not have the special capacity to do so, it will cost me 1 support per turn to be away from the range of the city. And if I wanted to take this tile here, it will cost me 2 support per turn to do so. So these are very costly. Expanding a city far and wide is very costly. But earlier, I said you could do it. So why doing it? Well, first of all, because there are special buildings in the projects. You unlock them as you play the game. You have special buildings that allows to lower the cost of support of expanding your city farther. So the second level can be reduced by 1, the third level reduced by 2, and the fourth level reduced by 3. I don't even know if you can have -3, I don't even remember. But you can have a building, I think this is the train station, and the train station gives you not only 8 expansion points which you can use to conquer the different things. Can I access the Wikipedia of the cards? Is it something I can do on presentation? No, doesn't seem like it. This building gives you 8 expansion points, which you can use the way you want, and also lowers the cost of expanding at -2 or -3. I don't remember exactly, but so basically you can expand much farther without paying for it. Now this crater here, well, it's full of rock, and it has 1 fertile soil. So this is one interesting tile where if you put a food production building, it will do +1 food. But let's be honest, it's okay. It got also pretty good comfort of living, so this is not too bad because it's a crater. This one only 1. Okay, it's not as good, but it has some stuff in. The problem I have with that is that I will need to not grow the city. So basically just to put the city here and maybe to take this 1 tile. Because alternatively I can try to exchange that tile for that city. But then I need to start expanding on those other tiles that cost support. So this is quite complex. Alternatively I could decide to sacrifice this tile to put something else in. And I see something that would lead me into taking that decision. And that is this little marker here. It says this location is situated on a high plateau. Now, why is that interesting? This thing here says you could build a city here. You can see it here, and you can see it here as well. Why is a high plateau interesting? Well, a high plateau is interesting because some outdoor energy buildings provide additional energy if they are actually placed on a high plateau. So I could decide to place instead an energy building like a solar panel, for example. It will generate more energy being placed here. So this is something that I'm thinking about. Now, this tile is not reachable by any of those cities within 1 tile. That means I will have to sacrifice some support to get that tile. So let's see how we decide to do things, okay? But right now, I'm thinking this crater is a lot less appealing than this crater. I'm gonna pass the turn. We are still pretty far from the 25 points. So taking all the stones away is nowhere near going to be happening. So we have now school, road paver depot, or again the robot dispatch center. I could do the robot dispatch center. We already have 2 robots in the city. That would give us +4 support. So that's a flat gain. Plus we can play it immediately. It's gonna use a lot of my energy though. I have alternatively the road paver depot. This is +3 expansion building. It takes a space in my city for sure, so it will take 1 of the space, but it gives me a good flat 3 expansion if I wanted it. I can see the appeal. I could decide to take those tiles. That would cost me support, but I could decide to take those tiles. I am still at a negative support right now. We need to remember that. Even if I found some support by discovering those tiles, it's only a buffer. I'm losing support every turn. And the next time we have a raise in expectation, it will be minus 16, so that can raise to very, very, very bad level. So I'm thinking, what is the most beneficial for me? Right now, this one will give me some support, for sure, plus 4, so it puts me at minus 1. This one here, look at it. It's a school. It produces 1 science per turn, because it's a school, but adjacent population provides plus 2 support per turn. This is a support-based project, and I needed that. I've been looking for that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to sacrifice Mariba's special abilities. It's a leader that's not so easy to use at the beginning. Maybe I will keep it one more turn to validate the food, but we have such a nice growth for the food that I don't even know if it's worth doing it. What's really worth doing right now is gaining a good chunk of silicate so I can place my school. So do we have a tile that says it has a large hint of silicate? We don't. However, we have a tile. Oh, that tile is really far away though. I'm thinking of instead taking a small hint of silicate, but not spending so much energy. This one costs 2. If I wanted this one, it costs 3. And this one would cost probably 4. So let's take this one. 3 titanium, 3 water, 3 silicate, and some food. That was the right choice. Oh, and we just found a large hint of silicate. Maybe the next leader can go and take it. We have the food. I could place my habitation module. I'm not going to because I'm not stupid. What I'm gonna do, however, we also turns out to have the titanium, and we still have enough energy for it. I'm gonna place a mine of silicate. Now we are producing silicate. That is a great, great thing to see. So what we need next, I want some silicate again to validate the school. I really think that tile will be good for us. It also holds a little bit of water. We also need 10 water, remember, to be able to place my headquarters and create my new city. So this tile seems like a really good tile to place. And it's gonna cost me 3 energy to take. Mariba is retiring. Thank you for your service. The south tile is a giant silicate. It will cost me 12 resources to validate, but produce a lot. This year marks the beginning of a new term, and it is time to choose a new leader. Each has unique ability, blah blah blah. We know, it's election year. Thank you, Mariba, for your service. You did great. We now have 2 different concurrents for the next leader. Lena Cartez, which has an expertise in culture, so probably around satisfaction, support, and Gustav Mirzoyan, which is an expert in artificial intelligence. Aha! Now that's a tough choice. Let's see what they offer. Lena Cartez, of course, the first one is always the exploration, but her exploration is standard, nothing special. Some leader have some modifier on the exploration. This one does not. Cultural festival. I can spend 5 water to gain plus 75 support. So if you have a very large water production on Mars, early water production, that leader can give you a very, very nice buffer of support while you focus on doing other things. She also has a special building, a special project, local art gallery. This one is free. It comes at 0 cost. This project can only be played inside the city and only once per city. It says adjacent population provides plus 2 support per turn, so it is a happiness building. But it also says plus 2 support for every planet location upgrade that provides support or comfort owned by this city. So this is very specific. What does that mean? We haven't found any yet, but on the map there are places sometimes, like let's say this one, that are not a good place for a city. But it says it has support. It's an exploration milestone. So what is it exactly? And yes, to answer your question about the giant silicate, if I wanted a mine on it, it would cost me 12 and 12. However, it will produce 3 silicate. So that's the biggest possible deposit you can have. I will take it later. Sometimes you can get support from a tile that does not provide a good place for a city. But instead, you have a natural wonder, a natural marvel of Mars. Well, if you take that tile, it will give a bonus of support or a bonus of comfort to the city that owns the tile. And this is what she's about. If you do that and place a local art gallery in the city, then it will also gain +2 support for every single tile like that provides support or comfort. We don't have a single one of them, so that renders her capacities quite useless right now. And even for the long term, I really don't see how I can use her right now. So for us, it's not the best possible choice. Happiness leads to creativity, specialization of the girl. If you have 700 or more total support, you love the bubble. Yes, indeed. So if you have 700 or more total support, gain +1 project suggestion and +1 project research per turn. You will also be able to start 2 extra projects. These are the special abilities of a very specific building. It's a science building. She basically gives you that for free if you manage to have more than 700 support in your pool of support, which is doable. We are 200 something right now. So if I keep exploring fast, I will get a lot of support in the pool. That would literally give me a free building capacity. That's her specialization. The problem is that her skill sucks, so I'm not gonna take her. Gustav Mirzoyan, Artificial Intelligence. He explores. He has a special skill that generates +5 power. Okay, why is that interesting for me? That's interesting because I generate no power. And I'm going to reach the 0 power soon. This guy gives me the possibility to keep exploring. I just have to sacrifice 1 turn and I can explore for maybe 2 turns. This is extremely important for me right now. I discarded all the projects related to power so far because I have 0 tritium. I just cannot do any. So I could decide to focus my trading into getting some tritium. Maybe I will do that. But right now, this guy fills up the gap. So I like this. He also has the Innovate skill. 2 more projects are proposed this turn and gain +3 science. Huh. Okay, what does that mean? When I click on this and I have those 3 projects offered from which I can research 1, with this ability I will get 5. So I will have more potential projects, more choice, more cards for me to choose on. We will look at the cards after. And flat 3 science, which is by itself pretty good. His specialization is related to robots. Advanced machine learning, very in the theme of the era, increases your science production by 1 for every 6 robots you construct. Remains active for the entire game, even after the leader retires. I'm gonna take him, obviously. Now his special ability is here, the specialization, and as you can see, it returned triggered 0 time, progress 0 out of 6. This is planetary. Every single time I'm gonna start building robots, they will accumulate here, and every time I reach 6, I will get +1 science. So that's pretty cool. It's like a passive ability that will just give me more science over time, not considering the rest. So like this guy is a pretty strong choice as a leader. Let's go and explore this location. We freed up the crater. Now that crater can be potentially colonized. We gave ourselves also the silicate that we needed. So I did say I would take that tile because I need the water. I will do it next turn. I can now place my school. That school is gonna cost me 3 science, 10 silicate, but it gives me a science per turn, and most importantly, +2 support per population and per turn. If I place it like this, you can see the support now appearing under each of my population. It's not the best support building ever. There is a building that gives +4 support, +4 for each population. So this is like, that would be for one building only 60 support, very, very strong. But you know what? At this point in time, we were at -5. We go back down, up to +1. I'm very happy with the result. Next turn, you can still research a project. I did not research my project. So, we have a new project we don't know. Research Center. It costs science. It says 2 extra projects will be proposed every turn. Oh. So that's basically his special ability permanently. You know what? Considering what else we have to do, I'm gonna take it. I like it very much. We are now at +4 science per turn, thanks to the school. I'm going to stop giving myself silicates for a little bit. Instead, I'm gonna give myself... You know what? Well, it depends how much water we get from this. So let's give myself a water, so I can ensure that I have my city. Pass the turn. X-Mars Foundation again. Hey, thank you so much. Now, X-Mars Foundation offers to build one of those projects again. Get a university. What does that do? It costs 22 silicates. And now we see where this is going. 22 silicates is a lot of silicate, but we have a game that is oriented toward having a lot of silicate. So I am quite interested. What does he say? Adjacent science producing buildings produce +1 science per turn. So basically, and this is why I was a little bit sad at the idea of placing all of my science building in different places like this. Let's imagine that instead I place my science building just like I place my farms. I would place the university in the center of it and suddenly double up my science. That would be insane. Really, really strong. But I can still try to do it in the new city. I still look forward to boosting up my farming with another building that does that. Actually, there are a few buildings that can do that, but I'm looking... If I see that building coming, I will take it the project. I will take the project automatically. We still have 2 placements we can use for other things in this city. So, we also have the exploration satellite. That's very good. I don't even need to use my leader. I can use the satellite instead. We get 4 silicate and 3 water. That is perfect. There is another silicate deposit here. And I can see as well, there is a very large hint of titanium. So very much likely to have a titanium mine here. Am I interested by that? I am quite interested by that. Aha! Photovoltaic field. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This is a red project, one that goes outside. This project has this special bonus, +1 power, if placed on a high location. And this is exactly what I was talking about when I said this city here might not be interesting for us. Let's look at what else. We have public bath. Now, public bath, 5 support per turn. Adjacent population provide +2 support per turn. Again, we could have used this one instead of the school, and it would have given us more support. But we place the school now, so... And this guy here, AI-guided road network. It costs power, silicate, and titanium, and it can be played only once per city, but it gives the city +2 extra expansion per combination of population and robots. Wait a second. We have 2 robots, 3 population. That means this building would give us +4 extra expansions in the city. However, right now, every expansion will cost me support. I don't really have a means to not lose support if I wanted to expand more. That means I'm not hyper interested. I am very interested getting energy, however. But to gain energy, I will need eventually to expand that city a little bit more. So, like, we have to go in between those projects. We're gonna have to see. We now have the 25 food and the 10 water, which means we can place our first... not our first, but the first headquarters that we purchase. First, we need to found the city. So, Mirzwayan's base, because it's the new leader, he wants to give it his name. No. Black silicate colony. That's not silicate, so no. Big silicate colony. It's not silicate, it's tritium, dude. Cerberus post, no. Big silicates, no. Great silicates, no. Great silicates junction, no. What do you want with the silicate, dude? Why does he want to call it silicate? That's very strange. Blue silicate. Ah, grey silicate. What's with the silicate? Seriously. What the fuck? So, long silicate colony. No. Silicate junction. No. Cerberus. Okay, that's gonna be Cerberus post, if that continues. Gustavstead. Okay, Gustavstead. That's a beautiful name. That's gonna be the name of the game. Okay. Let's place it in an area where we can build without having to remove those stones yet, because we need that research for this. I think I'm gonna place it here. It's polyvalent. We could have a support building here or here, and other population buildings, either here or here. I'm keeping it. I keep my options open because, let's say we have the school again. We could decide to place the school here. Then we place a population next to the school to benefit from the support. So, yeah, why not? Okay, so we don't have the 25 anymore for the next population. That's alright. It's not the end of the world. We have now Gustavstead as our new city. Now, our cities' junctions cannot interact with one another. Lord, Silicon Valley turns into Silicate Valley, yes. I think they call it like this because we are into the silicate area and they just don't want to get out of it. Normally, like the names of the new cities are more like crater post, or I don't know, because it's a crater, you know. But he really wanted to give his name as well. He wanted to give his name to the new city. Let's check this unexplored location. It's not very far. Costs only 2. I do need the, funny enough, I do need the silicate. I could try to catch up to 12 to place this gigantic silicate deposit. We will gain in... You know what? What do we need most at this point? We need our food to be able to expand. Right now, I could export my additional nitrate because I don't need nitrate just now. What I need is a way to access that tile, so either another population or something that gives me some tiles. I will have to consider it. And I want to place this photovoltaic field because I need desperately the power. Alternatively, if we get some titanium, 4 power and 4 titanium, I will gain a mine of tritium, which is also very beneficial, because as we saw it from the beginning of the game, tritium will give us building that creates power. So, choices, and this is where the game becomes a little bit more tricky. Now, every turn is an important turn. We are at turn 12, year 2072. So all of these shenanigans started in year 2060. The faster you end up the scenario, and the higher level you gain as a reward at the end, which gives you, as you saw at the very beginning of the presentation, higher tier, more discovery in the card, etc., etc. I'm already at the highest tier. I discovered all the cards, so that doesn't apply to me, but for you, if you want to try the game, it will. So, what do we want to do next? For the I think the 25 science right now are more important than the 14. I want to validate this to reduce the cost of removing the rocks in Gustavstead. For this, we will need 4 turns. I could make it less if I exchange with Earth. I could make it 3 turns. Am I gonna do that? Or am I gonna instead get more silicate? I think I cannot really allow myself to get more silicates. I need the titanium. I don't have any source of titanium. For this, I need to research those tiles, and they are quite far, so that's gonna cost me a lot of energy. Okay, we got 5 titanium and 2 water. Very good. That was a very large hint. It's a normal titanium deposit, but that gave us a good amount. That means I can immediately go into Gustavstead and build my mine of tritium. That's very cool, because now we are generating tritium. We don't need titanium anymore. I could have used that building, but maybe we have something else. I don't need titanium. I need titanium, yes, for the gigantic silicate deposit. But you know what? That's actually not an absolute necessity for us right now. Getting a lot of silicate could allow us to build those buildings that cost so much silicate, like the University 22 silicate. We could consider it. There are other things that we need to do as well. I think we're gonna keep the titanium for now. We need titanium. I have a panic event to resolve. Oh yes, what do I want to do? True. I forgot that one. X-Mars Foundation. So, what do we want to do? University for 22 Silicate, pretty cool, but where am I gonna place it? I could place it here, place a science building on the anomaly that produces +1 science, university next to it, that gives it another +1 science. So suddenly this one building produces 3 science. And then if I place, let's say, a school here, then that school benefits to, let's say, 2 habitations, and also benefits from the +1 science. Okay, science building becomes interesting, but hard to place, but interesting. The Marsha is this building that gives a population and protects from radiation. We don't actually need that. However, we have here the landing pad. The landing pad is a off-city building that requires 4 titanium and gives you +1 trade route. You could say it's kind of shitty, but actually, right now, our bigger shortcoming is not having some of those resources. And the more trade routes I get, and the more I can obtain those resources and build those necessary buildings. I really like having the landing pad right now. It's not the best trade route building ever, but for the beginning of the scenario, this is a game changer. Plus, I actually have 2 placements where I can put it, so I can see an immediate use for it. I just need 4 titanium. Okay, bioengineering progress. This is also a fixed event. Now, they are basically telling you, hey dude, you developed, it's good, now it's about time that you start, do what? Well, do the name of the game, terraform. Like, do something, dude. Let's stop just populating. So, terraform, okay, that starts with bacteria. And you can choose which bacteria you want for terraforming. Each bacteria will require different things, but also provide something else in return. The cyanophyta, the minimum requirement is -2 temperature, so basically you can place it wherever you want. That bacteria will start providing +1 atmosphere per turn and +1 oxygen per turn. It also gives you some prestige. And you need 14 turns for the spreader to recharge, so you can spread it again to another region. Alternatively, we have the methanogenium. This one provides heat per turn, but requires to be at a maximum of -1. If your current location is -2, you won't be able to place it. Now, raising the temperature, that's cool, that's useful, but is it the most important? I don't know. Raising the temperature, well, that's something you need definitely for quite a lot of plants. Raising the atmosphere and oxygen is what you need for basically every creature, every living animal. So they are both quite interesting, both of them. And now we are talking about these factors. I'm going to take the cyanophyta. I always take the cyanophyta. First of all, because it raises 2 different factors instead of 1. But also because I can see how atmosphere and the oxygens are usually the one that, you know, allows to boost up quite a lot of things, especially the comfort of living. It comes together with the project, the bacteria spreader, that costs 25 science. It must be placed on the planet location as well. That's a very special building, this one. The problem is its cost. 25 science. Most of the games, you don't have +4 science development like this, like we have. That's because we started directly with nitrates and silicates, which are the necessary resource for science building, but most of the time you don't. So we will be able to place the bacteria spreader in one of those locations here. When you end your turns, I am not seeing you get energy. You don't get energy because I have nothing that gives me energy. Do you have to activate his ability return for the +5? If I want to get the +5 energy, I will be using the skill energy saving, and I cannot explore or do anything else. I'm gonna do now so you can see. Because no, now I need the titanium first. I'm gonna take the titanium by exploring one of those tiles. That's gonna cost me some energy, but that's gonna put me really low. So I'm gonna do it next turn. We still have 8 years with Gustav, so that's not a problem. Here, for 10 science and 7 nitrate, we have the cultured meat lab. This building is an advanced food building. It gives you +3 support per turn. It does give 1 food per turn, just like the others, but +3 support per turn, that's really cool. Hello, Marie Johnson. Thank you for joining the stream. It's doing very, very well. Thank you very much. We are presenting Terraformers today. An extremely good, very well balanced game, very well made. I hope you like it. We have a very interesting building here, the regolith burner. So this regolith burner, that's a weird building. It's a power generator. It costs 12 titanium. That's quite expensive. But it has a special ability, produces an atmosphere per turn per adjacent rock. Produces atmosphere per adjacent rock. Now that's weird. Now why is it weird? It's weird because that's actually not an easy building to place. If I wanted to go back to the crater, no, sorry, to the lava tube, where we have rock everywhere. Think about that. If you want to be able to place a building, you need an access to the placement. And the best I can see in this lava tube, for example, are this node that touch 3 rocks, or this node that touch 3 rocks. Alternatively, you have this rock as well, which has a node that touch 3 rocks. But none of them can be accessed, because there is a rock. There is a rock. So if you place, let's say, your headquarters around here, then you need to clear up the rock to access that tile. That means that the very maximum node that benefits that I've seen for this building here has always been a maximum of 2 rocks, because you need access to place it. That means this building can, at the best, produce 1 power and 2 atmosphere per turn. The atmosphere per turn will come here. After you reach 60, you pass the next tier of atmosphere, and you have 3 tiers for each of the 4 levels that terraforms the planet. So this generator will give us 2 per turn. That means in 30 turns, we pass the next tier. Of course, we can place other buildings in between. So we can raise the ocean to get some rain. We can raise the level of the atmosphere that gives us better radiation protection, which in return also gives us more comfort. Now here in the lava tube, we actually are fully protected from radiation. We get +4, which means that this lava tube starts with a comfort of +4. Every population that comes living in this lava tube city will generate a base +4 support. Lava tubes are great location to generate a lot of support from your population. So that's a good way to fight against this expectation, the raising of expectation. And then you have another location which we have not met yet, and that's the flat plane. The flat planes are terrible. They give you no rock, almost no rock, like the crater, completely empty. However, they are fully exposed to radiation. So usually they start with a -2 support comfort. But this is why you keep on seeing this building. We don't have it right now, but the Masha that we saw several times, the Masha costs a little bit more, but gives you radiation protection. That means that instead of having -2 comfort, they start with a +2 comfort. So it's actually pretty cool if you manage to place it. Here we have the restaurant district. It costs 10 food, funny enough. However, if you have at least 3 food produced, it costs -5 food if at least 5 food is produced inside the city. In this city of New Juba, if I manage to place my building that double up the production of food, I will produce 8 food in that city. Therefore, placing that building would cost me only 5 food. Absolutely, man. Yeah, go take care of your kids. Have good fun, man. No problem. Of course, you are more than welcome. I'm very happy to have you here today. Thank you for passing, and do enjoy the video. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Come to the Discord, ask me any question you want. This is really a game that I had much pleasure with. If you like resource management game, I would strongly suggest you go for it. It's a very cool game. You'll find it on Steam. Terraformers. But yeah, you'll find the video on Twitch later. So if you can access later, you can finish. I will stop the presentation not too late. I think within 5-10 minutes I will stop the presentation today. See you, man. Have a great night. Thank you so much for passing. See you soon. Bye bye. Okay, so restaurant district right now, so it does give adjacent population +3 support per turn. That's actually pretty strong. Right now we don't really have a use for it. I could in the next city consider putting it here. That would be an adjacency bonus. I don't know if I want to do that. Another food production could be good. After all, the more food we get, the faster we reach our 25s. And this building here, I really don't have a means to play it. The problem is that it uses science and nitrate. I have the nitrate, but it will use my science. I need 25. So what do I do with this? I could alternatively pass. Don't research any project, but receive science. Or I could use this special ability to get more project proposal and +3 science. That's what I'm gonna do. Now we are actually offered another laboratory. I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna play it. And now we got +2 science per turn. We are at +6, a very nice, very comfortable +6 science per turn. That's great. I can decide to modify my import as well, to give myself next turn +7, that will bring me to exactly 25. I will be able to use my project. Pass the turn. We have 25. I validate the project. Now if we go back into the lava tube, or even in Gustav's stead, the cost of removing is down to 1 power, and we really do like to see that. Okay. So what are the next objectives? And this is kind of how you play the game. Every turn you will ask yourself, what is my next objective? How can I progress through the game? We are progressing. We are now at 51 points out of 600. So we are progressing. I've been playing very slowly to explain each of the different mechanics. But if you know the game and if you play by yourself, it will go much faster. Yet you do have to make decision. I can see here that for 6 power and 25 food, I could have the miner's cottage. The miner's cottage is quite interesting. It's a housing that gives +1 support per turn for every mine owned by the city. That means that if I decided, for example, to place it in New Juba, I still have some space. Even if I reach the maximum necessary to place my buildings, I could decide to have more than just 5. That's okay. It would unlock some space for me to build stuff. Well, that would give me support for those 2 mines. If I decided to use that to go into the aquifer and to make another mine, it would give me even more support. And indirectly, that would be a building that negates the negative 1 support necessary to reach the water. That could be an interesting way to play it. Or, more interestingly, even, and this is what I'm looking for, reaching the crater, because this is where we want to place our photovoltaic field that will produce 2 power per turn. And we desperately need that power. I am willing to sacrifice 6 power for that. I'm gonna take it. Finally, we have the CO2 factory. 12 power and 9 titanium. It's quite costly. It produces 1 atmosphere and 1 heat per turn, so it boosts up our levels for terraforming. However, the adjacent population provide -1 support per turn. They don't like having the factory. Hey, Mary Johnson, I do stream every day or close to it. Are you on Twitch? You are on Twitch. Go on my main page, check on the schedule. You have the schedule with all the details of my different streams. And I do have 2 big streams per week and 4 small streams per week, and maybe another one if I feel up to the challenge on Monday. So I stream from Tuesday to Sunday on different games, the big games being Civilization 7 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and on Sunday I reserve myself for a big stream to discover indie games, so small indie games. The other days I do co-op games, I do shooter games, I do other things like that. So do keep an eye on the schedule on Twitch. I believe that you can even access the schedule and get the notification if you are following. I do not know if you need to follow or if you need to subscribe. I don't remember. But yeah, you have access to all the info. And if I modify anything, I will be telling you on Discord. So be sure to catch up on Discord. So you will be kept every day. You'll be kept up to date on the different stream I do, the game I present or the game I continue to play on. I'm gonna take the miner. I think it's pretty cool. The other one is redundant. I don't want this one because I don't need it right now. It would be pretty good to boost up those things, but for the sake of this presentation, I don't see the point. Let's get to the 25. We need +7. We don't have it yet. I need 2 turns to get 25 food. I will stop the science. I do need a lot of science, but I think right now it's beneficial for me to sacrifice 1 science instead per turn and to give myself more silicate, because once I play my miner scorer, I can finally place my photovoltaic, and this is exactly what I want to do. So I'm gonna use my guy and gain some energy instead. There we go. Now we have 12 energies. That will allow me to place this and also not to lose too much. Project is done. Let's pass the turn. Aha! Interesting. Now that we are starting to accumulate tritium, we have the opportunity to take our generator. But this is horrible. This is horrible. Those 3 projects are extremely valuable for me at this point of the game. All 3 of them. First of all, we have the soil factory. It costs 22 nitrates. It's a high tier building. This is the building I've been waiting for. It gives me adjacent food productive building produce +1 food per turn. So this is one of those buildings that will boost up the food that I've been looking forward to get. I do need a lot of soil, but that's okay. We can explore, get more of it, or we just boost up our production here. Alternatively, we have the generator, which will provide us the energy that we desperately need. Right now, I'm not banking on it. It will come back eventually, and when it comes back, I will take it. We are now generating the tritium, so we will be able to place it. Finally, we have this building. This is a project that also goes outside of the city. It's red, as you can see. Those red projects go on the land. This is an extra rover. Just like the extra satellite, this is an extra rover. It does take 1 space, so you need a place like this to place it on. And then it counts how many turns it needs to go and explore those locations for you, but it does it for free. And this changes everything. I need all 3 of those buildings. This is a horrible choice for me. I am thinking, considering what would be the next step for me in that game. Not for the presentation, but for this game, if I wanted to do this game. For as much as I absolutely love to see this building and I want it from the beginning of the game, I hope it will come back. It's a rare building, it's not a standard building. You see, this is a standard building, comes back often. This one, it has some little thingies on the sides. And this one, you even have 2 little thingies on the sides. That's how much rarer it is. All 3 of those buildings are also rare. If you want to call them uncommon, you will say that this is a common project, this is an uncommon project, and this is a rare project. Well, this one is uncommon. It does not come so often. This one, technically speaking, is common. But here's the thing. I need it. I need it so much. Why? Because this rover is just like this one. Every time I explore a tile, it will also provide me some resources. What do I need for this? 5 tritium and 9 titanium. I'm lacking on titanium. I will get the tritium in 2 turns. That means I focus my research. Using my satellite, I'm gonna check this deposit here. 5 titanium, 2 science, thank you. Plus 10 power, hallelujah. We just got it for free. 10 power for free. So that's gonna raise the expectation for sure. But guess what? Now we have a nice buffer. And now this guy can do the same. He can go and explore. We need 9. I think that taking this one, for example, it's gonna cost me 3 power to do so. But it's gonna give me 3 titanium and 3 water. Ha! Interesting. Very happy to do this. We discovered the sandstones. It's a natural marvel. I'm gonna collect the resources. We get a booster of happiness. It is a natural marvel, the sandstones, and we can build on it guided tours. So this is one of those areas that provides happiness for the nearby city. So the city that will, for example, this city connects to this one. If I decide to build the guided tour and send my little merchant to see that marvel, they will be happy and they will gain 5 support per turn. This is a great source of support. Next turn we will have the tritium. No, we need 2 turns for this. Not if I change my exchange. No, I need 1 turn. I also have the necessary titanium to place my landing pad. Hey, we need 13 in total. I'm cheeky. I'm actually going to do the landing pad first, giving me another trade route. Now I can exchange, let's say, 1 food for 1 titanium. Pass. We raise the expectation again. So this time we are losing 16 support per turn. We are going back negative minus 14. We have 280 pool of happiness. Minus 14. It will take 20 turns to bring it down to 0. However, we have some very interesting things happening here. We do have the entertainment center that gives us +3 support per neighboring population. We have the school again that gives +2 support but also +1 science. And we have another building, the bus station. Well, this one is one of those special buildings I talked about. It gives you 2 free expansion and reduces the negative support per turn of distant land location by 1. This is the first of those big buildings. If I placed it in New Juba, I would get 2 extensions. I would be able to immediately take the crater, and even I would be able to take a source of water. So I am very interested in doing that, even if the other 2 are actually excellent for me right now. This one is actually even more excellent. I could even place it next turn, and I think, okay, I'm missing the necessary silicate. So let's try to find the source of silicate. There is one right here for 2. 2 silicate and 27 support. It's another crater. I will need a little bit more than that. And we also need 2 No, titanium. We should have it next turn. What do I do? Because I will need the tritium for this one. I took the miner's cottage. If I take the water, it's even better. It's even better. I'm gonna place this miner's cottage here. I now have +1. I'm gonna wait to get this online. And I'm going to take those 3 tiles. 2 more mines for this city. That means 2 more support for free. So, I need this tritium. I will put my rover later. That's okay. I will get the tritium next turn. I also do need the titanium to come. It's coming slowly. That should be fine as it is. So let's pass. And we have another landing pad coming. Nice. Now we have the necessary. I'm going to place it. And now I'm already crying not having the soil factory because it would come here. This is the only building that I want for this city now. This city is complete. The only building I want is the soil factory. I am taking this. I am taking that. And I'm taking that. And I have source of water. The only thing I need for this is silicate. So I'm going to take the mine. And that already reduces my penalty here by 1. Actually, yeah, the miners are already producing 4 happiness. And 5 once I have a mine here. We need the power. I'm gonna use his special ability and immediately buy myself another mine. And now we have +2 water per turn. Talk about a combo, huh? We are now producing water as well. This is a very nice combo that allows us to produce more and to also gain more. Research center could be made. I believe... I mean, I really need the rover, but I believe what I need next is the spreader, the bacteria spreader, because the bacteria spreader is something that affects the environment over time. It takes a long time for the bacteria to spread. It's not necessarily the absolute objective of this game, but you can do it. Raising oxygen temperature or atmosphere using the bacteria is a good way to also gain comfort. Every level you raise will give an additional comfort for your population worldwide. So it is pretty good. For this, I get 5 points every turn. That means in 2 turns I will have 25. What do we want next then? We have the 25 from our next population. I do not need an igloo. The igloo is very interesting that it protects my population from radiation for as long as the temperature is negative. But we don't really have that problem. We could alternatively take an oxygen factory that would also do the same as the bacteria, so it would double up the effect of the bacteria basically, because it produces atmosphere and oxygen per turn. Or another landing pad. I'm going to lack accessible placement though. So I'm thinking oxygen factory. It does cost a lot of water, but guess what? We are producing water now. So, in line of order, we want the solar panel to start producing energy. Then we want the bacteria spreader and the rover. And all of this is going to arrive within the next few turns. We have the satellites back online. Let's go and give me some titanium, please. +2 water and 20 support. Thank you very much. We are at -9. I do like to see that. I do absolutely like to see that. If I wanted to take this beautiful large hint of titanium, how much would that cost me? Too much. I can't do it, it's too far. I'm gonna use his power again to give myself some energy. Now we need to choose a project. I could take another farm for more food. Another rover as a investment. Or we have here a resonance station, costs 22 silicate. And instead of the food or the science, this one says that adjacent power producing buildings produce +1 power. But here's the thing, I don't have a single power producing building. This is absolutely useless. The farm could be placed immediately and produce more food. I think this is the best value right now. The rover could be good, but we have one waiting, so let's just do that. Let's just do that. Place that farm in a location that does not bother. We don't have water anymore. That's okay. I do need 17 water, but I can place that later. That's not an urgency. Now, we have the 25 science. We finally can place our bacteria spreader. Let's place it. And now we have this tab here that just activated. Bacteria, plants, or animals. The bacteria spreader gives us access to the bacteria that we unlocked. Right now we only have this one. And the conditions for this one are met everywhere because it's a -2 minimum temperature. We definitely have that. We need to have unlocked the visibility over the region to be able to spread the bacteria. So let's start by where we are. Why not in Cimmeria, for example? And here we have it. Bacteria are spreading in Cimmeria. Now it's gonna take 17 turns for the bacteria spreader to reload, basically. That's quite long. It can be reduced on occasion by certain capacities. Right now I don't have it. So let's just do that. We need still some titanium. For this, I'm going to sacrifice a bit of energy and catch +4 titanium and 2 science. We reached the necessary, that is beautiful, but I cannot really place my rover because I want first to place my photovoltaic field. I made a mistake. This is the silicate I needed most. That's alright. I am going to stop using my food. I'm instead going to sacrifice a bit more science. The rest I do need. I'm gonna have the silicate next turn. So what I need most now is to get the food online. In 3 turns, we will have the necessary for the habitation module. I'm thinking I could go for... what? But I saw something. In here, we could either go for more robots, which is good to spread, potentially interesting. Public bath, that does cost also water, we don't have enough. However, we have this here, and this is quite different. This is our very, very first space project, and it is quite costly. 11 silicate and 11 tritium. Now, I told you the tritium was also mostly for the space project, and silicate, it's because it's science-based. If we validate this space project, we will gain +3 science per turn. You can, at one period of time, only have 3 space projects in parallel. However, every time you validate one, you enable the project, it gives you the bonus, and those bonuses are quite various. It can be better comfort, it can be better support, it can be a raise of planetary elements, or in this case, +3 science. It's an orbital telescope on Phobos, one of the moons of Mars. So it costs 11 silicate and 11 tritium to do. I don't need the tritium, meaning I can send the tritium, no problem. Automatically, it puts this little arrow here. That means this one is going out for space. So it's not an exchange. You don't need an importation, exportation. But we do have a second one. I do need my silicate. So I cannot send the silicate right now because I need 12. So I'm going to instead export a nitrate and give myself a bit more water in preparation for getting this guy. Oh, and what do we have here? This will be the last event of the presentation of today. Phobos Moon City. Now this is a very interesting one. It comes as a space project. You can view Phobos, and Phobos offers you a beautiful space to build an extra city. Now why is it so special? Well, it's so special for a very simple reason. It usually comes with water deposits and a natural site inside. +4 support per turn. However, it has no heat at all. It's freezing cold, so you need those special buildings. Otherwise, you are directly into negative comfort. It does not have radiation, but no radiation protection either. No air, because you're in space. And no rain, obviously, because you're in space. So why going for this? Well, because it is a space project. It is not a Martian project. Meaning that you can build it progressively. And that is a huge difference. You can send your resources little bit by little bit when you don't need them. Now, it's quite inconvenient to receive the Phobos Space Project just now in the middle like this. First of all, because we will focus our effort into the telescope first, but most importantly, because we could have other more beneficial space projects that gives us bonuses instead of just a city. That city does have 2 sources of water though, so it's not that terrible. But we will need also to find those habitation modules that are protected, such as the igloo, for example. That was the perfect example. I could go and take another landing pad. I am considering opening new tiles for... So we are now in space, and Phobos is here, orbiting around Mars. Very funny. A little city can be founded here. So we have to go back to Mars using the scrolling of the mouse. Right now we have unlocked this region. As you can see, this is barely a fourth of what the planet offers, and we are turn 20. A game, I usually finish a game in between turns 55 and 70, depending on the difficulty and how long it goes. This is because starting now, we are producing things. And by producing things, I mean putting a solar panel and producing 2 energies per turn. As you can see, the only thing I am not producing on Mars right now is the titanium. I am producing a little bit of every resource. It's not like at the beginning when you come and everything is virgin. Now we can start placing buildings one after the other, and the further you go and the faster it gets. But this is also the reason why the faster the expectation rises, and next time it's -24. So, how do you do to survive in this? Build more rovers, explore faster, gain more resources and more support boosts, build new cities, create populations, give them robots, whatever you want, augment your number of projects that you can research per turn, the number of cards that you can place. This is how you reach a point where you can start placing 1, 2, maybe even 3 cards in a turn. More buildings, faster growth, etc., etc., etc. And you will eventually reach your goal. 75 points at this point. It's not too shabby. 600 points can seem unreasonable, but no. Trade routes are gonna keep on growing. +4 points, so it's 2 points per trade route. Once I reach 10 trade routes, it's 20 points. Resource income, that keeps on growing. Everything keeps on growing. So the 600 points, they will come. And every time you validate one of those, you will get a nice big chunk. Also, terraforming steps is going to give you a lot of points. So, and those, they grow by themselves as you place those buildings, as you place those bacteria. Now the bacteria gives +1 in oxygen, +1 in atmosphere. Once I place this building after 17 source of water, I will double it up and it will grow twice as fast. After 30 points in oxygen, we validate the first level of oxygen. Then maybe we can start putting some plants. You will need a plant spreader to place it in a tile like the bacteria spreader, and then you start putting plants on Mars. And then after the plants, you will start putting some animals, etc., etc. So you grow life on Mars, and this is how you terraform Mars and validate your special project. I will stick to this for this presentation. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked, or at least my enthusiasm for the game. This is a very nice game, very simple, but very, very satisfying. I would strongly suggest you have a look at it, because I've been having a blast with this game over the last few months, at least weeks. I don't exactly know when I started playing it, but yeah, I've been having a blast with this game. The developers have done a great job at it, so I think they deserve your attention. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Or come and join me like my friends before do the stream, so you can participate during the presentation, see the games, and just be there, discuss with me. You can also join our Discord if you wish to join the community and discuss about the games, or join, keep in touch with the program or the schedule of the different stream I do. I stream almost every day, so you can just come and join me. You are more than welcome. This was Bear. I tell you, see you next time. Bye bye.